YouTube, what's going on, what's going on? So, in my last video, I made a bold prediction, and I was right on both of them, okay? And it wasn't luck, it wasn't like I'm just making it up and, oh, it just happened to go my way. Everything that I said in my video, um, about what was going to happen, what I believe was going to happen, happened. I could have been wrong. Yeah, I could have been wrong, but I went what the chart was telling me, which is, as I said in my last video, I'm going to bring up the lines that I drew as a prediction of what's going to happen, and I'm going to try and see if I can see what's going to happen next. So in my last video, I said this fair value gap right here has been acting as support, strong support. So while everyone was looking to buy puts right here, which makes sense, sometimes when you see trend broken, be honest with you, I don't trade like everybody else anymore, like that is just the honest truth. I don't think like how everybody else think anymore. My brain thinks completely different. Um, Not to say that I'm like the best trader ever, because this is something that someone else taught me, something that I learned, something that I went through, that I learned how to see the chart in a way I've never seen it before, instead of, no offense to high lows, lower highs, and da da da, and people saying, "Oh, this stock market is a scam and it's a fake out and stuff like that." I mean, in some cases, I could see that, but when you look at the chart, the way I look at the chart, I don't say it's fake out, but it's just the way the chart is, the way it moves. If you don't learn how the chart actually moves, you were gonna be faked out. You are gonna be faked out down here. In my last video, I said, "Oh, have you ever?" Let me bring up my chart right now. This is not too confusing. Let me just hide the indicators. In my last video, I said, "Have you ever been in a situation where you start thinking the stock is gonna go down, and it goes up, and when the things go up, it goes down?" Well, this is why. That's because when it was coming down, there were buyers, and then when it was going up, there was sellers. So this is why break and retest also don't work necessarily, and only work sometimes. You know, it's just if you don't look at the chart the right way, then I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna lose. You know, when I look at a chart, I could see instantly. All right, I'll explain to you guys what happened in my last video and why I said what the charts were going to do, what they were going to do. All right, so what you see right here is a fair value gap in the green. If you don't know what it is, you have to watch a couple of my other videos. I explain it almost in all my last videos, right? Right here, there was another selling fair value gap. And essentially, when you come in contact with a fair value gap, you bounce off it. And when you come into it on the downside, you bounce below it. So the market gapped up, which I wasn't called, and I also bought puts up here, because this right here, this zone that you see right here, that was also a fair value gap. Now, at this particular moment, it's kind of hard to, the market is technically at this specific moment in charge. The bulls are in charge. On SPY, I see that on SPY, but I'll show you something else in a little bit. Technically, the bulls are in charge, even though you see stuff looks crazy, because there's no more fair value gap, bare fair value gap. It's been filled. It's been filled here, and we went down, then we came back up very aggressively. Now, my target was fair value gap up, and then we come down to this fair value gap, I believe, right down here at 559, because this one has been tapped into so many times, but it hasn't been filled yet. And when it's filled, it technically go up. So maybe we do something like this, where we come down like this and fill it, and then we bounce back up, This is just a theory, by the way. This is just a theory of mine. Doesn't mean this is going to happen. We bounce up somewhere. Maybe we create another fair value gap on the way down, and then push down to this one, or maybe even to this one, to the lower section right there. Hold on, my computer went dark. Why my screen went dark? Yo, what's going on? Okay. My computer's felt lazy right now. Yeah, because we do have a 1 day gap right here as well. So let me see about ES. All right. So this is what I mean by on SPY, right? The fair value gap is cleared. But ES is still saying that this fair value gap is still right here. So that's the thing. But if I'm gonna base the charts, I'm not even gonna base the chart on SPY because SPY follows ES anyways. So basing it on SPY, I get a different result because on on ES I get something a little different now. On ES, this is what I see. This one looks clear as day, and then because this is the 4 hour anyways, but the reason why I say this one looks better is because on ES the fair value gap is being cleared. It's over. It's done. As long as they don't create another fair value gap on the way down. If they do it slowly and they just drop instead of gap down or something like that, then it's going to be up to have to clear it and come back down and blah blah blah. But overall, this is what I predict in the market is down right here, lower high, which is perfect. Fair value gap. This is perfect as it get. This push up could actually be a bear trap, bull trap. That's what I also believe because on SPY we look bullish, but on ES to me it looks bearish, and filling this gap down here would be pretty good, and then potentially maybe a bounce up, maybe they create another bearish fair value gap up and then come back down. If we're entering into the bull market, that's how I would see them doing it. But yeah, on the 1 day, let me see, I don't see, yeah, it would, I'm not gonna lie, it looks perfect, be honest with you. Like if this would go my way, this is exactly how I would see it going. No other way. I can't say this was going to happen, but all I'm saying is it looks perfect because then it would actually do two things in one. It would come down to here and fill the gap and the fair value gap. So there's a difference between a fair value gap and a gap. This is just an actual gap right here, and this is a fair value gap, and this is what I see. And this is exactly what I see. I don't see anything else in the chart, but obviously I'm not a psychic. I can't say, hey, da da da. But it would do so much. Like it would do a lot. It would clear the 1 month fair value gap. And if we come down to here, expect a massive bull run. Like I'm just saying, like if we come down to here and we clear out this fair value gap, bullish, we usually come down and then pop off. So if we do drop down to hit this level to fill this gap that you see in the market, I would expect a nice rally after that because this bullish fair value gap that they created. Let me make sure that they didn't tap into it yet. Yeah, no, they didn't tap into it. They're actually creating it right now. So what I mean by that is it's not fully confirmed yet. Let me hide my drawings. Okay, so yeah, it's not fully confirmed. This one is not fully confirmed. I'm not talking about this one. The 1 day, the 1 day that I was talking about. That one is different. But the 1 month, essentially, what I mean by it's not confirmed is this fair value gap, how wide it is not fully confirmed until the month is over. So this fair value gap is right here. It could get smaller and smaller and smaller. But as long as we stay above it, we're good. But if we go below it, there's no more bullish continuation type of thing. The bullish fair value gap, you gotta look at it as a bullish continuation. See how it did it right here, where we were up, we gapped up, fair value gap created, we tapped back into it to fill the gap, then we continue up. This is on a weekly time frame. That is what you call a bullish fair value gap. And if you notice right here, you see these three red candles, right? Well, what they did was they closed. I'm just saying the buyers closed the fair value gap that could have basically tapped into it and then continue downwards. But they did create one right here. You see this one and this one. This was a bearish continuation fair value gap that they broke through and then used it as support. It's tricky, but overall, not to get too complicated in what I'm talking about, I'm looking at the chart and this is what I see. I'm not saying nothing else can go, nothing else can happen. Anything is possible, but this make more logical sense to me. So I'm actually very interested in finding out if I was right or not. I'll make a video to say, hey, I was right or I was wrong. Something else happened. I have no problem saying, hey, I was wrong because I'm not a psychic. All I can do is just read the charts and what the charts are telling me. And currently, I see a downtrend down to here to fill this gap, then up, probably create a fair value gap, and then I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when this is filled. But I do expect a bounce somewhere in this zone. Absolutely. Buying a call option here, like strong call option right here. But yeah, so I will see you guys in my next video. Let me know what you think. Do you see something else? Is there something I'm missing? Just let me know. Leave a comment, subscribe, like. See you guys in my next one. Later.